Welcome back, everybody. It is Good Health by Claudia, a podcast produced by, well, it's a production of Denny Radio Productions. So we appreciate everybody once again. Hello to you, Claudia.
Hi, Denny. Good to see you.
Nice to be seen. It is episode number 96.
Woo-hoo!
96.
That's exciting.
And listen, I get really excited when we do these multiple screen interviews, which is what we're about to do. And do you have anything you want to say other than people share this episode? I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one of our best, if our not best podcasts we've ever done. Click share right now. Click it on your phone or whatever you're watching us on.
Right.
This is going to be a really good episode.
I mean, all of our guests are very special, but this is a very special conversation we're going to have today. I think it's a very important conversation that, people need to hear. So we have some great guests.
We do. Let's start with Kevin Miller. He is a filmmaker, and we've had him on before. Kevin, welcome back to the podcast.
Happy New Year. Good to see you both.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you as well. And let's introduce Billy Best. Billy, welcome to the
welcome,
podcast.
Billy. Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us.
All right, Billy, for some reason.
Great to be here.
There he is. All right,
Very
cool.
Thank you.
Kevin, what is your connection to Billy? How do you guys know each other?
My goodness, it goes back decades. And, a lot of people know about Bill Best. And let me just read something, if you don't mind to start. Quote, "The case of Billy Best remains meaningful 25 years since Billy's diagnosis.
Yeah.
His story put Hodgkin lymphoma on the front pages and brought attention to complementary alternative medicine, the challenges inherent in adolescent healthcare decision-making, and entrenched disagreements. Further, Billy's is among the notable cases in which the press played an impactful and meaningful role," end quote. And that's not from Kevin Miller, that's from 2021 Journal of Pediatrics in reviewing Billy's case. So I think we should lead with that so that you realize that people in a far larger context than ours have been talking about my treasured friend and man I admire, immensely. And so we're glad to have Billy on board to be able to tell his story today.
Yes. Thank you, Billy.
All right, Billy,
For being here.
you've been in the limelight for quite a while. You ran away from home when you were only 16 because you didn't want the chemo. I know I'm rushing through it, but go ahead and tell everybody your story.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks, and thank you, Kevin. That feeling goes both ways as far as a treasured friend, and it has been decades, so it's kind of a joy to be able to be on the same kind of podcast conversation with you. Thank you for having the wherewithal and connection to set this up, and I do agree this is a very shareable episode. What we're going to talk about, I feel, is important, and
Absolutely.
We'll get into it. Let me quickly share my story. If anyone wants to learn more about it, it is easily Googleable. It's been around, it hasn't changed for a long time. So the gist of the story for me really was, I had been diagnosed with cancer as a teenager. The 2 years before being diagnosed, I had an accident where my arm was kind of ripped off and put back on, and 6 surgeries and 2 years of operations. Kind of turned me off to being in the hospital. I just kind of wanted to, have a normal life, enjoy just normal things a teenager would do. So when I was diagnosed with cancer, it was the same day that my aunt died from chemotherapy poisoning. They were, giving her more and more chemo, and finally she died while receiving it. So that was huge for me. I didn't know anyone who had gone through cancer, and the people that I had heard about really just got diagnosed. They didn't, out of nowhere they get diagnosed, and then, they start getting chemo, feeling real sick, and then dying from, chemo. And that's just how I saw it. So I kind of made the decision that after all I'd already been through, that was not a quality of life I was willing to accept. Dying in the hospital, especially after beginning my treatments, where it just made me feel like, it was like a toxic experiment walking around. And the kids that I was getting with, they started getting more sick, and they wouldn't show up if they were too weak to get the treatment. And I just saw that would happen to me, and I just didn't I couldn't live with that. So I accepted to die from cancer. I said, I'm just gonna let this thing run its course rather than the chemo. At least I'll be able to see some of the country, and get some fresh air. So I had this whole plan. I packed all my stuff. I was real secretive about it. I didn't tell anyone at school I was sick. There was a shame factor of my illness. I had already been weakened with my injured arm, and I don't know. It was part of who I felt I was supposed to be was strong. So to admit illness was really but I did pack all my stuff up.
And Billy's audio is obviously goofing up a little bit, but the end point of his story was that, he took off. Billy has been a skateboarder his entire life. And so he knew skateboarders from various communities around the country. And when this all happened and he was told that he had to do chemotherapy, Billy took off and got on a bus and eventually made his way to Houston, I believe, and then was sheltered by this clique of skateboarders so that he would escape the terrible effects of chemotherapy. And Denny, you asked, how did I meet Billy? Well, I mean, there's been many things as a professional filmmaker that I've regretted in my life. But one, it was that I wanted to produce a documentary film about Billy about 15 or more years ago. And the first time Billy and I met, and the reason I say I have a regret about that is because we could not raise the money despite me writing this impactful 10-page proposal and why it should be funded. We didn't get supported, at least not yet. So I traveled to Boston, where Billy lived in the Boston area. And the first time I met him in person was with a mutual friend, Neil. And he was, I can't remember the name of the club, Billy, but it was a nightclub, a sort of a punk rock club, which I love. And Billy was raising funds for a kid named Danny Hauser. And Danny was a 13-year-old at the time, and the stories mirrored each other to some degree. And so here's Billy, well now, and thankfully still well, and he was raising funds for Danny Hauser and his family. So this is the kind of guy that Bill is. People look up to him. They know that he has integrity and that he never tried to remove choice from anyone else's choices regarding cancer, but he certainly wanted to preserve his own and as individuals, our own medical freedom of choice. So one of the many reasons to revere Billy Best.
Well, I just want to say, Billy, I honor your courage. I honor that even as a young person, you knew what you did not want your body exposed to, and you did something about it. And I really respect that, because working in a health food store for over 50 years, the people that want to opt out of chemo, there are many, but they don't know what to do, and they don't know where to go, and they don't know who to turn to. And of course, years ago, I mean, people were really ridiculed if they opted out of chemo. They were, they were made to look like they were foolish. But I think we're at the point, or hopefully we're at the point, where more people are wondering, why would you give somebody that's sick chemo that shuts down their immune system? What, where does that even come from? So anyway, I really thank you for doing what you did, because you're definitely a voice for a lot of people, man. And I applaud you very, very much. So can you go ahead?
All right. So I got like a million questions for you, Billy. So did you realize then as a teenager, when you essentially ran away from home, and I'm assuming your parents were freaking out and trying to find you, did you realize the impact of what you were doing would lead to where it is now? You have a book, and now people are hearing your story, and they're like, wait a minute, I have a choice? Did you realize the impact when you were 16 to where you are now?
Not at all. No, absolutely not. And while this was happening, like Claudia was saying, she sees it as being, brave and courageous. I was desperate. That's the only option that I could think of for like self-preservation. So that's where my actions were based out of. No, I didn't think that any of this would happen. We didn't know about any of this. Now, this is a time when this event happened. This was before the internet. This was, it was before, it was before organic produce in supermarkets. I can tell you that much. There was nobody that I knew about to look at and say, oh, there's someone that I can look up to. There's someone who had been through something similar. This was like uncharted territories. And like it worked out. I feel like it was meant to work out, just the way things happen. It's unbelievable looking back now, and still the way things are going. Just the events and the people that fell into place. To help me find a way. My mom puts it so well. She says, we prayed to God to heal my cancer, and He showed us a different way to treat it. So that's like, I just think that's pretty, pretty beautiful.
So how's your health today, Billy?
It's great. I got checked up recently, and yeah, I have concerns because I'm older and I don't, take as good a care of myself as I have in the past, and everything's good. Everything's great right now. I'm still able to like ride my skateboard around. I've had some more accidents, and I'm still like I'm lucky to be walking around. I've bounced back through a few different things, and I'm happy with how, I have no complaints right now.
That is awesome. Kevin, I'm assuming that if anybody's watching right now and would like to finance your documentary or a major motion picture, say they have a few millions of dollars lying around, how would somebody get a hold of you, Kevin?
Well, I think the best way is to get in touch with Claudia and you. I could give them my email, but this is a story that transcends everything that we discuss about, quote, alternative medicines, vitamins, nutrients, because this is a tangible thing that is happening to thousands of people every single week in this country. And God knows, within all that we've done through Dietary Supplement Health Education Act and all of Claudia's efforts over 40, 50 years, and there are people that have made massive amounts of money to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars off of this industry. And unlike Claudia and people like you, they're not giving back in a truly meaningful way that helps us educate even a wider berth of people across our country and the world. And Billy's story it would be my number one choice. And last time we talked about Linus Pauling and my efforts to raise funds for that film, for his heroic efforts. But Bill's story is truly the most important because it communicates to us on such a beautifully human level. And what parent could not see themselves through the eyes of Billy's parents? And what teenager who is maybe confronting the same diagnosis could not see themselves through Bill's eyes? So, I mean, if people want to fund this effort and do something truly heroic that is not about me, it's about Bill and the impact that his story could, they should, I'm pretty easy to find, and God knows you folks are. So I would say a prayer right now for that to happen.
That would be awesome. Now, Billy, you have your book, The Billy Best Story, Beating Cancer with Alternative Medicine. It's available on Amazon, and we also have the link up on the page if people want to order it. Billy, why do you think you're alive? You didn't go the route that modern medicine or society says, oh, you have cancer, you have to have chemo. Why do you think now, all these years later, you didn't do chemo? Why are you still here, Billy?
I think just plainly why I'm here is because I'm supposed to be. I think,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, there's something I'm supposed to be here for.
Yeah.
So what was the alternative medicine that you turned to, though, instead of chemo?
Okay, so again, so I didn't know anything about alternative medicine. I didn't have any, I had like that was pretty much that was being healthy. At that time was taking the purple little Flintstone vitamin. But when I stopped chemo, I mean, really what happened was before the internet, everybody sent letters and made phone calls, and I'm talking thousands. I'm talking bags of mail every day being dumped dumped at the house. When I did decide to come home, and I decided because of this hope that the media was able to have filtered over to our house. The media it shared a story where people felt the need to write letters of things that they had helped them. So when I got home, I just saw this mail and I started reading these letters and I just started organizing them into stacks. It's like, well, this one says change your diet. This one says, do the, detoxify your body. There's a whole bunch of different ones that sounded crazy at the time, which now I think have merit. I believe these crazy things from 30 years ago are coming around. I see them in the news, like bee sting therapy, things that have merit that just seemed crazy back then. So all in all, is what I did was I ended up changing my diet. I detoxified with a tea called Essiac tea, ESSIAC, and eventually I found a therapy which I administered myself called 714X.
Which has been banned for importation from Canada, by the way.
Yeah, that's and that's part of. So we're talking about my story here. So that's the treatment. The short answer for what your question was: treatment, change diet,
Right.
detox, and use 714X, which restored the flow of my lymphatic system. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, talking about this and listening to other people, just the fact that I was doing something that I believed would work, I think that it's worth mentioning. And that's something that even the doctors at Dana-Farber told me. If you believe in this medicine, it's gonna.
Yeah, the power of the mind.
So
My therapy had a lot of different things.
Go ahead, Claudia.
I'm sorry, but we've talked about fluorescence tea on the podcast, and Essiac was the first generation of fluorescence tea. So Essiac is still available. Fluorescence is still available. We sell them both at the store, and it's one of the first things actually that we guide people to that are dealing with different, imbalances. But I'm just curious, Billy, I'm just curious because we've had customers over the years that their children were diagnosed with different forms of cancer. and the parents didn't want them to go through chemo. And the teenagers, we've had a few, they didn't want chemo. And the authorities, of course, threatened them. You know, they're going to call child services and they're going to throw the parents in jail. I mean, this is very real stuff. And that's why having these conversations are so important, because people in this country need to know what individuals have experienced that want to do things differently for their health. It's not, you know, it's not smiled upon within the system. And so people like Bill, you have gone through a lot just to save their own life. So I'm just curious, when you were, what were you, 15, correct? Were you 15? Did the authorities
16.
try to come after you or anything? What happened with that?
Yeah, they did. Well, it happened at the time when, so I had met with the doctors and told them I was not going to do chemotherapy. I found this other stuff I want to try. I told them all about it. They told me all the different ways it would kill me. I sat in a meeting with all the heads of the hospital, the head of oncology, head of radiology, my oncologist, public relations, like the psychiatrist department, all just to sit there and tell me all the different ways I would die. And I'd be scared, except for the fact that they were like terrible. I could just smell the fear coming off of them. They're looking at them like they're trying to scare me right now. Like, why are they trying to scare me? So when I with my father, we had an opportunity to drive up to Canada and learn about this 714X. And so we did. Now, while we were gone, we learned that the hospital had reported my family to the Department of Social Services. So, I mean, we didn't know what it was going to be like when we came home. It was all very like cloak and dagger, like really, like we're against, like we're trying to hide from the government, trying to save my life. They might have taken my family at home, and so all these things that were just kind of difficult, just for anyone during any normal day. But when you're
And by the way,
his internet connection is kind of in and out. Go ahead.
no, I mean, by the way, this mirrors the story.
I'm gonna go grab
the Danny
I'll be right back.
Hauser story that we outlined at the very beginning. And when I first met Billy, literally the first day, and he was raising funds for Danny Hauser. Well, Danny Hauser and his mother, Colleen, took off in the cold of a Minnesota night at 3 a.m, and I think drove to, eventually made their way to Seattle. But they were absolutely threatened by childhood services and the authorities. And their story, although not quite as well publicized, was on CNN. Like Billy's story was on international television, radio, and newspapers, I mean, by the hundreds. And so this is kind of how it first crossed my radar. And then ultimately, I obviously became very good friends with Billy. But I think it's meaningful to mention here that whether it's Linus Pauling's belief that large amounts of vitamin C intravenously could help mitigate not only the effects of chemotherapy, but perhaps even the real healing aspects against cancer, or Billy's mention of SEAC or 714X and other nutrients, is that 30 years removed from Billy's very dramatic story, we're still not at a place in society where we have determined that investing millions, tens of millions of dollars worth of research into nutrition, into these very selective areas, are worth the investment. And so, it leaves me, as someone that is trained in journalism, who only got involved in filmmaking to tell some of the stories that are not told, whether it's about homeless war veterans or nutrition, is that, you know, it's not because we don't have the money. And it's a little bit tiring, as Claudia, you as a person with 50 years into this can attest. It's grating, in fact, to be told that, well, these nutrients aren't proven to do X, Y, or Z. And when they do study it, when they do vitamin C per Pauling's recommendations, for example, you know, they study it looking for a reason for it not to work.
Right.
And,
Right.
you know, this is too important to worry about whether or not someone has a patent, to lose a son, the Billy's age of 16 years old, or Danny Hauser when he was 13, or, you know, countless millions of other children and young adults across the country. I mean, these are things that we should be taking our tax dollars to study. And I'll probably die with this belief at whatever age I'm blessed to cross over. But this is the important thing, that we need to be studying these things in earnest and with open eyes. And if one road fails when you're studying SEAC or vitamin C or any of these nutrients, then we need to take alternate paths and try to examine why it is that someone as brilliant as Linus Pauling believed what he believed, one of the smartest men ever to walk the planet. And, you know, Pauling, for example, was 50 years ahead of his time. And he didn't understand at the time yet, before he died, that intravenous vitamin C would work far better than swallowing 18 grams worth of pills or powder of vitamin C or ascorbic acid.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, everything we talked about, Billy's book, The Billy Best Story, Beating Cancer with Alternative Medicine, available at Amazon. We have the link there on the page. So I know we had a couple of internet issues with you there, Billy. But I'm sure you cover and you go much deeper once you're in the book. So if you want to get the full story, buy the book, people.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
All right,
One
Claudia,
thing
we
I
gotta
just want
wind-
to
we gotta
throw
wind this
into
up.
the
What else did you
conversation,
want to
because
say?
this is a conversation that we could have, you know, this is a 2-3 hour conversation when you really look at all the aspects of what we're talking about here. But the fact that that pharma has grabbed that kind of power to terrorize people the way they have over the years, to terrorize children, their parents. This is a very, very sad reality that exists in our country. And I really want to make sure everybody understands Billy's story is extremely important, but there are many others, as Kevin already, suggests. There are many people that have stories that, they wanted to opt out, but they were threatened because they were told they didn't have the right to do that, to do what they wanted to do with their own body. And that, to me, is atrocious, especially in this beautiful country, in this great country that we live in. So, these health freedom issues are very real. They're very important. I'm grateful we're talking about them. We're going to keep talking about them because, Billy, you brought up, they were instilling fear in you. And thousands of people over the years have told me they went into chemo because they were too afraid not to, but they didn't want to, but they were too afraid because of the fear that was put in them. That's awful. That's an awful way to deal with human health. Human health should be done with integrity, love, care. So, and that's what I'm proud that our industry does. I always tell people, wrap your heart around yourself and heal from a loving place. And that's what ultimately that's what you did. And when Denny says, why do you think you're still here? I think it's a beautiful, it's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing it. And thank you for, hopefully it hits other people that feel like this and they know that they have power to do something. So I think this is a very important conversation.
All right, Billy, we're about out of time. Anything else you wanted to mention before we let you go, other than buy his book, people?
Billy,
The book's on. The book has the audio book available now, so I haven't listened to it, but I'm kind of excited to hear what it sounds like. So it's got the Kindle, the paperback, and the audiobook. And in closing, I just want to mention everything's been great for the last 30 years because I've been able to get this treatment across the border. Currently, it's been problematic getting it across the border. So right now, people that make it in Canada, the company called CERB, they are trying to find an attorney that is knowledgeable in United States laws to try to work on making, trying to get this kind of not a ban on it, but it's got a hold on it. It's trying to get that kind of resolved. So, if I can in any way help connect them with someone that would be knowledgeable and being able to help them with their U.S. legal issues, I feel like that's the most important part of my story right now. It's really tough to share this message, which I feel like is hopeful, when I'm not certain if this item that is bringing this hope is not able to receive. So I'm kind of torn when it comes to sharing with these podcasts. But I don't really have it in me to give up too easily. So I've already began reaching out to my Congress, my representative in Congress, and anyone in in my connections that might be able to help. So that's just what I'm working on right now. Like the other day, I received an email from someone whose daughter. It's the same a lot. It's daughter has cancer. The hospitals gave up on them. They saw I did well with something, and they want to try it. It's really heartbreaking when I don't know for certain they'll be able to get it. So, just I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there, just in case that speaks to anyone, and they can,
But I just want to remind everyone that the products you use are very important. But there's so many other products because
absolutely.
Being in a health food store all these years, anyone that's been in a health food store as long as I have, we've witnessed people heal themselves of different forms of cancer. It's a truthful statement. And because there's many people again that don't want to go that path, so they do, they find other products. So even though this product that helped you, and hopefully we'll be able to get it back into the United States, there's so much research being done on other products. So there are other tools that people can learn about and embrace. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, thank you for going on, and hopefully
Yes,
down the
Billy,
road we'll
thank
have
you.
you out again, celebrating even more success stories. Like I said, buy his book, people, and God bless you, Billy. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Many
Kevin.
blessings to
All
you.
right, Kevin, anything else you
Kevin?
want to mention in closing?
Listen, I just pray that you have Billy on again, because he was having some internet problems for a while there. And there's so much more to tell and intimate detail. And he is the reason that we fought and fight for medical freedom of choice. Billy Best embodies the best of all of that. So thank you for doing what you're doing, and I'm privileged to be on with you.
Well, and I want everyone to know that you, for your career and where your heart is, you've made some very, very important films about health freedom issues, medical freedom of choice. And, we want to help get that out because people need to know your work. It's brilliant, it's heartfelt, it's honest, it's accurate. So thank you for doing what you do as well.
Well, thank you, and I'll just say in response to that, if it is those lovely terms that you just ascribed to my work, it is because of people featured in it like Billy Best.
Yes.
So thank you again for the opportunity. Good seeing you guys again.
Same here, Kevin. Take care. Man, that was awesome, man. Just like I said at the beginning, this is going to be the best one ever. A couple of glitches, but it's excellent stuff. I hope people support Billy and buy his book.
Yes.
And we went a little longer than normal, but the information was really, really
yes.
good.
I'm so grateful that, we were able to do this today, Denny, and that both of them were with us. So,
all right, I'm going to give you the last word once again, Claudia.
Well, our health is precious. My mother always said it belongs between us and our maker. And I hold on to those words. I don't think that anyone has the right to interfere with natural things that are there to help people. And I pray that people keep learning and learning how to embrace their own health, and just know that the body is willing to heal, but it needs the right tools. And those tools from nature's pharmacy, that's the synergy. That's the beautiful wisdom, the innate wisdom that exists between us, our maker, the planet, the environment. Those tools are there. So embrace them and know that the human body is very willing to heal when it's given the proper tools to assist its ability. So keep the faith, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We very much appreciate it. And stay tuned, because we have a lot of great episodes coming up. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool things that really affect our lives. Not a lot of people don't realize it, but health belongs to the people. Health is our right. So keep the faith, keep doing what you're doing, and many blessings to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Peace.